Hey guys, right, today I thought I might just do a little bit of a video about using a chainsaw. Now I've got this chainsaw to cut up wood for a wood burning stove that is going in my workshop. Now I had a Black & Decker chainsaw before. When I lost my workshop, which is over there by the way, one workshop, when I lost my workshop to a fire here at my home, the insurance paid out, which is nice, and I've had to replace a lot of the tools that I've lost. So anyway, I got a new chainsaw, and I told a friend of mine that I got this chainsaw, and he was very hesitant about chainsaws because they've got a reputation for injuring people, and yeah, people are very, very wary of them. So, and with good reason to some extent. So I thought I'd do a video on the subject of using one. So if we start with the chainsaw itself, this one is a Mikata. It's an electric chainsaw. Obviously you can get petrol chainsaws as well. Now on that subject, I'm not logging in the forest, I'm not logging out in the sticks, I'm logging next to my home, and I've got a ready source of power. I cut a piece of log, I stop, I put the chainsaw down, I sort it out, I prepare the next bit, and I'm ready to go again. I don't want to restarting an engine. Noisy, two-stroke fuel, all the hassle. So electric chainsaw in this domestic setting is exactly what you need. So the chainsaw itself, when you first get the chainsaw, you have to put the blade on it. You also have to put oil in it. There's a thing in here that lubricates the blade. Now, don't use any old oil. Use proper chainsaw oil, which is readily available. So the chainsaw itself. The blade, it's a very capable machine. So one of the things, make sure you've got a sharp blade. A sharp blade is safer. The blade is absolutely lethal. If it touches you anywhere, it's going to put you in hospital, and it's part of the reason why if you do not use this machine properly, you're going to get hurt. So just be aware that you do not throw this thing around willy-nilly. Anywhere that blade contacts, it's going to cut, including you. Now, you tend to cut with the bottom of the blade. If you cut with the bottom of the blade as it travels, it's trying to drag the machine towards what you're cutting. So on here, there is this, which jams against the wood that you're cutting. So the machine, as it's cutting, is trying to pull itself away from you, which is a good thing. It doesn't pull that hard, not with a sharp blade, and not if it jams, unless it jams, but it's pulling away from you. Now if you were to cut something with the top of the blade, if that blade jams, it's going to send the machine towards you, which is not such a good thing. So there's a safety feature here. When you hold the handle, if the machine butts towards you and you jam into this will automatically switch the machine off. So that's a safety feature. Also, if you cut with the tip of the blade and you snag something, the thing will kick up. So generally, you can do these things, but generally you want to be cutting with the bottom of the blade. Now, the wood. First of all, you have to spend some money on these tools. It's not an over-expensive tool, but it's a power tool. It costs some money. You do not want to be working down here by your feet. You want to be working at a good working height. So get yourself a little table. This one, they're cheap as chips, but all they do is they lift the work up to a height that you can more easily use the chainsaw. So Safety gear, where there are safety gear, I tend to wear gloves. I should be wearing eye protection as well. I'm not. That's my bad. I wear glasses, which offers me some protection, but the chippings I don't find. I'm not working in a way that it throws chippings at me. I'm doing the cuts in the same way every time. I've got a consistent workflow, so I'm not hanging on a tree, bending around in all kinds of ways, looking for different little branches. I'm always cutting the same way on the same trestle. Something to do with the work. I mean, I'm cutting logs here. It's trees from the garden. One of the things you have to be a little bit careful, if there's any nails, anything metal driven into this and that chainsaw hits it, it's going to, well, at best it will damage the blade, at worst it will stop the blade in its tracks and kick the chainsaw well, from the bottom blade it will kick away, but again, if you were cutting from underneath here, it would kick the chainsaw directly towards you. So you do not want anything metal in there, just the wood. Okay, so let's cut something. So I've got a tripod here. So we'll set this up. And there we are. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So, what I want to do is I want to cut a length off this log that's about 12 inches. 12 inches is good. So all I've done is I've taken a piece of paper, the length of the A4 piece of paper is about 12 inches, just under. So there we are, 12 inches. So I need to cut about here. So this log needs to be further over. And that's going to be about here somewhere. I've got this bit on here as well, which I don't like, so I'm going to do something about that as well. Right, so now the cut is going to be about here. So that's that. What I tend to do, I've got an axe here. Splitting the wood that I cut comes later, but that's a job for another day. So we've got my gloves. I've got a chainsaw. Right, and I've got my measure, which is to about there. Okay. So got my gloves on, good firm grip. Let's make sure we get good operation, which we have, and we're ready to go. So now, how we work this? We cut down. So what I'll do is I'll bring the chainsaw onto it, and then I bring the machine into those prongs, and then once the thing's cutting engaged to cut, what you do, you don't hack. You know, you're not using this axe. You're not hacking at this. You're letting the chainsaw do the work, and it will go with a sharp blade. This will go through this like butter. So you want to be very gentle with this. You just bring it up to the work. You're letting the blade cut the wood, and then you pivot the thing down on this metal prong here, and so the blade will then cut through the wood. So let's start it up. So there, and then I just gently tilt it, and then down again, gently tilt it, down again, gently, 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 letting the saw do the work, just gently tilt it down and again, and we're done. Now, I'm no expert, but that was a piece of cake. If you do it properly, there's nothing to fear. So I mean, I'm 65. I'm an electrician. I'm not into, you know, I'm not a blooming lumberjack. But I can understand, and like I say, with some good reason, why people are nervous of chainsaws. But to be honest, as long as you do it properly, piece of cake, easy, and makes very easy work of what would otherwise be a hard job. So that was it really. That's all I wanted to show. Tensioning the blade, that's one thing I should have mentioned, which I forgot before. You can see I'm not going to touch the blade because we're switched on, but the blade has just got a little bit of slack between the aluminium and the bottom. You don't tighten it up tight, but at the same time you don't want it too slack either. So you just gently goes round. Just got a little bit of slack in it. In fact, I might just pull that up a little bit because that is just a gnat's too much for me. But not tight. But you do want to be able to detect just a little bit of slack in that blade. Right, that's it. So I'm going to switch you guys off. I've got a pile more of this to do.